Hi, and welcome to Your Truth Explored, the podcast where we unpack your truths to bring clarity, understanding, and insight into what lies ahead. My name is Rodney Reynders. Today's guest believes that when men are given a safe space to remove the mask, speak honestly, and reconnect with themselves, the benefits extend far beyond the individual man. Jacob O'Neill is a men's coach, mentor, and facilitator, as well as the founding member of the Gathering of Men, one of Australia's largest men retreats. He's also a co-founder and lead facilitator of the Embodied Man Institute, an organization working to restore a healthier masculine culture through brotherhood, emotional honesty, and personal responsibility and authentic leadership. Through individual coaching, group programs, retreats, and rites of passage, Jacob has supported hundreds of men to move beyond isolation, limited beliefs, and silent struggles. His work invites men to explore who they are, what they stand for, and how they want to serve their partners, families, and communities. Jacob does not claim to have all the answers or to make decisions for men he supports. Instead, he draws upon lived experience, grounded spirituality, embodied presence, and emotional courage to create space where men can feel safe, seen, and challenged to grow. Today we explore the importance of initiation, belonging, and brotherhood, the wounds men often carry beneath the surface, and what can become possible when a man recognizes that he is already worthy. And yes, ladies, this conversation will equip you too with understanding for the men in your life. So sit back, strap in, and let's explore your truth with Jacob O'Neill. Well, Jacob, thank you for being here. I look forward to our conversation.
Honored, man. I love these, as we were saying before the recording, I love the opportunity to be in conversation. I think as humans, we can soundbite things and look for the quotes and the memes that make life mean something. But quite often, I find the most meaningful things are the relationships that I build through time with others. So this is an honor and a privilege, my friend. Thank you for having me, Rodney.
Yeah, no problem. And so I got your details from Olivia Carr, who speaks highly of your work in the men's circle.
Mhm.
And actually, the interesting topic was we were talking about menopause, and I said, this is a great conversation because nobody ever has it with a man. So, and so I learned heaps that particular day. But she
Mm.
seemed to feel that your platform actually creates an environment where the individual can blossom. And if you need to talk about your partner's struggles with menopause, hey, that's the topic for the day. Or if you need to struggle, if you're struggling with, actually, my thought for today really rung true in my own mind, this idea of the value of temptation and how we can disqualify ourselves because of temptation. But actually, if we look at the data, it tells us what's lacking, what's the need we have that's driving that temptation, if we see
Mm.
it as data rather than a problem. And so Olivia explains to me that that's the way you help men. And so maybe you can tell us about your platform and then we'll go from there.
Amazing, man. And yeah, you put it so beautifully. Essentially, we create safe spaces for men to discover more of themselves. The way that I like to frame this is that we're in the business of supporting men to be the best version of themselves, so everyone wins. So everyone wins.
Mm.
The way that we do this is we create different types of spaces, both online and in person. I'll speak about my favorite thing that we do, which is the Gathering of Men, which is what Olivia may have told you about.
Yeah.
We create three things for men: safety, belonging, and value. It's safe to be who you are. You belong here, and there is value for you to both give and receive. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is the icing on the cake. You can do it with breath work, you can do it with journaling, you can do it with meditation, you can do it carrying a big rock up a hill, chanting the affirmations of your greatness. Like all
Yeah.
of those things are part of the design of the practice. But if the practice does not have a foundation of safety, belonging, and value, you are inevitably building something on sand. It'll eventually topple over. So the cultural principles that we develop are essentially designed to filter out into your life rather than just happen at the retreat, at the workshop, at the webinar.
Yeah.
They're actually designed to permeate and filter into your relationship, filter into how you wash the dishes, filter into how you go over and actually introduce yourself to your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is really we believe that we're not necessarily serving a specific area of life or a specific man. We believe that we're helping men cultivate healthy masculine culture
Yeah.
within themselves so that they can give that to the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if I can pick up on that, so my background is that of psychology and coaching and counseling and all those good things.
Hmm.
And safety, if you boil psychology down to its pure essence, if I'm not safe, I've got a mental health issue. And if I'm safe, I'm all good to blossom.
Mm.
And then the rest is fluff and bubble, and we can put all sorts of context around it. But it's I'm safe or I'm not safe. That's the key that decides where I go. So this idea of creating a platform where men are safe is a wonderful idea. So how do you when you think of safety and introducing that to the man at large, what's the language around there? What's the tools? What's the platform that brings a
Amazing.
person to safety?
So the thing around safety is that it has to happen in relationship.
Yeah.
So there's three things that you can be in relationship to, yourself, other, and the world. And there's so many other ways that we could go. I'm sure we could spend 5 days, you and I, Rodney, talking about all the different intricacies of relationship, but I like to boil things down to three or five.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a simple man at my core, and I think most men love simplicity. And when we
Yeah.
can boil things down, it works best. So potency. When we have a relationship with self, a relationship with other, and a relationship with the world that is in right relationship, so RITE, ritual, it has a rhythm. We are able to be in the giving and receiving. If we don't have right relationship with ourselves, there is a lack of freedom. If we don't have a right relationship with other, there's a lack of connection. If we don't have a right relationship with the world, life lacks meaning and service. So the three things that I believe the tools that we give men, and I'll talk a bit about the process that we do, but it's just like how do we give men freedom, connection, and service as part of their life design? I feel free in myself. I feel connected deeply to the ones that I love and care about, and I'm serving the world in a way that is positive and I like to do and I'm good at.
We had safety and then you had belonging. And so belonging is an interesting one because the modern day rhetoric can put that in boxes very quickly. I'm a faith person, I'm a sports person, I'm a business person, and the list can go on. But belonging is not intrinsic to the uniform that you wear. It's the choice with which you choose to unite.
Yes.
And so how do you, putting again your sort of lens on talking to the average man around on the street and bearing in mind that the wives of men might be listening today. So how do we cultivate this idea that the island is a lonely place, but there is value beyond just the common camaraderie. There's value in the unity of standing alongside somebody.
To belong, you have to feel safe. So that's always the predecessor. Like I think you and I
Yeah.
are on the same wavelength. Without safety, nothing happens,
Yeah,
really.
that's right.
No, yeah.
Yeah, well
So
stumped.
that first element of safety will determine the level of belonging that you're able to provide and
Yeah.
that person is willing to engage with. So one thing that we are very conscious of is like we don't inevitably want to change, fix, or solve you because there's nothing wrong with you in the first
Yeah,
place.
that's right. You're not
So we
broken.
set that as a tone for the belonging. Hey, this is a brotherhood of men,
Mm.
not a brotherhood of sportsmen or a brotherhood of men in this income bracket or a brotherhood of men who have a relationship that's working or a brotherhood of men who are broken and angry or a brotherhood of
Yeah.
men who can, lift 100 kilos. It's like
Yeah.
we're a brotherhood of men. But in saying that, we used to have the ethos, no man gets left behind. And I think that's a really noble thing to say. But it also lends itself to the martyrdom culture and the self-imposed suffering culture
Yeah.
that can sometimes be amplified in Australia by men, which is I'm going to do everything for everyone else at the detriment to my own quality of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really important that we understand that that phrase can be weaponized to keep you in suffering.
Mm.
I've done that. I'll lower a ticket price to let an extra 10 men in, and then I end up in the red. but I did God's work. I did the good work.
yeah,
I'm doing
yeah,
it for everyone else. But
yeah,
then I've got bills piling up, and then I can't look after my family. So there's a little bit of a catch there that I like to that I've caught myself in many times, and I think this is the next bit around belonging. And the way that we invite men to belong is like, hey brother, there's a seat at the table. If you'd like to sit down, is up to you.
yeah,
We'll make room. We'll break. I'll cut the Subway sandwich in half. I'll cut it in quarters. I'll cut it in eighths. We'll all eat together. But you
yeah,
have to choose to sit down with us.
yeah,
I'm not going to come over to you and feed you.
yeah,
I believe in you too much.
yeah.
I know what you're capable of, and I call you forward into your power. And
Mm,
that for me is an important standard that I believe needs to be set so we don't end up with a whole lot of resentment after the so-called service. Because
yeah,
that's what I've seen. Men serve, 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 but then they're doing it from suffering, and inevitably they then resent the work
yeah.
because they're not being fed, they're not receiving at the level that they are giving.
Can that statement, they serve from a place of suffering, be extended to a unhealthy goal as well? So I can serve for recognition, I can serve for something, pride, a couple of other words,
Mm.
and they're intrinsically not birthed out of a healthy place, so they lead to this poor performance.
Mm.
As you were talking there, Joel, I was reflecting on a story, and I remember, I think it was the 2011 floods, but don't hold me to the particular date. But I was serving in a community capacity, and this town was cut off by floods. And I went to this farmer, and there was help available to the farmer. And I presented the help, and he said, "I'm an Aussie battler. I don't need your help." And when you were talking, I was thinking, isn't that what we do sometimes as men, particularly in the Australian context, where we go, this badge of honor as I'm the battler
Mm.
comes at a price that nobody actually stops us and goes, are you aware of the fee you're paying to carry that badge?
Mm.
And what would it cost or benefit you if you put down the badge and took the support? Do you feel
Oh,
like is that just me, or do you think that's a real thing we're battling?
that's the bane of my existence, Rodney. Like that exact example is the perfect summation of Australian culture and or male culture predominantly, which is I would hazard a guess that Aussie battler would be the first person to lend a hand to someone else.
Yeah,
So he would, which is the piece that it's like I caught myself not early on. It took me a couple of years in the coaching space to realize, I want everyone to win so I feel good, not because I want them to win.
yeah,
And that doesn't mean that the results they got are void now. It's just
yeah.
cool. I can see that, oh, their results were about me. And
Mm.
it's the same with the Aussie battler. It's like, no, I don't need a help. I don't need your help. I'm an Aussie battler. But if you need my help, I'll be there for
I'm
you.
there for you. Yeah,
Which is someone put that to me like, how good does it feel to give, Jacob? And I'm like, oh, it's amazing. And they're like, well, why would you deny someone else that feeling? And I'm like,
yeah,
oh man. Even to the point now, and I have a fear of being loved. That's my wound. It's like I fear when someone loves me without me earning it, I go into fear.
yeah, yeah,
So my wife will be like, "Hey, can I make you breakfast?" And my instant thing is to say no and I completely shut down.
yeah,
And we have a fun little game and or a fun little phrase that has saved our relationship for many, many times, which is, "Can I have another go at that?" So she'll say something like, "Hey, my love, can I make you coffee this morning?" And I'll go, "No, no, no, I'm good." And what I'm doing is I'm actually stopping her from having the feeling of giving. And I might take 10 paces and I'll stop and I'll be like, "Oh shit, I just stopped her love like, her
flowing.
act of love." And in 5 days' time, I'll be angry that she's not doing things for me. But I'm also, so I go back, I say, "Hey, lover, can I have another go at that?" And she goes, "Yes." I'm like, "Thank you."
Mm.
And she goes, can I make you a coffee?" I'm like, "I would love a coffee, thank you."
Yes,
And then I have to go and sit there and be just like, oh, okay, she's making a coffee. I hope it's good. I hope it's this. I hope it's that.
Yeah, that's right. But isn't that the joy of normalizing the journey?
Mm,
I feel like we're paying fees, both men and women, just sort of in life in general, where we're on rinse and repeat. And
mm,
nobody's sitting us down and going, "Hey, Jacob, do you want another go at that?" Or, "Hey, Rodney, do you want to rethink that?" Uh,
mm,
and and then the odd person that maybe does pose that question, because it's so rare, it almost feels threatening. But really, it's not. It's probably the most loving gift anybody can give you
yeah.
if we could just normalize the language. Hey?
Mm,
And maybe that's the question to you then: how, in the context of this conversation to men and partners of men, how do we give that gift to the husband who's listening's wife, where we introduce this idea that, hey, you have another go at this as an option in
mm.
your language tool.
I would love to say that men would just be like, oh, I'd like to do that. And women would be like, oh, here it is. And they go, yeah, I love that. But I truly believe that men need to feel some level of pain to move. I don't know if that's biological, nurture, nature, I have no idea what's right or wrong there. But what I've noticed in my time with men is quite often they need to feel the pain of something to move them first. And we say there's two fuel sources for change, pain and joy. And pain's normally the one that moves men first, and then they learn about joy after. Uh,
Hmm.
what I the way that I encourage, if there's any women listening to this, and just sending you all the love and thank you for holding it down and loving your man as well as you can, even if he does resist it, is anything that is brought as an expectation will have him fall into the collective wound of men, which is I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. Obviously, see, yep, I'm not enough. No matter what I do, it'll never be enough.
Yeah.
We need to use this tool in our relationship because we're not being kind enough to each other. And you're not letting me love you. Oh,
Hmm.
of course I'm not. I'm not good enough. No matter what I do. I go to work, I do this, and the story of not enoughness continues. And then she
Hmm.
goes, oh, well, see, now I bring you something and you can't do it. And then her wound goes, I'm too much. I'm asking for too much.
Yeah.
And we end up further apart. But if I can invite, and this is a responsibility that if women want to take ownership of, this is how you bring something to a man will either inspire him or have him avoiding.
Yeah.
So I always say if you can bring it as an invitation rather than an expectation, you are going to get at least a 75% success rate with what you bring.
Yeah.
The other 25%, you've just got to be okay that we have triggers, wounds, and projections that are going to
Yeah.
cause
It's
havoc.
not my day. It's just not my day.
But if my wife brings me something and it's an opportunity to say yes on my terms, I will then be able to choose it for myself and it won't feel like I'm being told what to do. That also means that she doesn't have to like if there's something how I've hurt her, she doesn't need to come in and be always tiptoeing around me. But if there's a genuine like desire for depth in your relationship and you want to go deeper, then there's a piece that you can easily bring through invitation. Hey, my love, I've been really feeling uh, a desire. I've been feeling this desire, and I'm not too sure how to word it.
Yeah.
But I want to. Can I share this desire with you? Immediately, you've asked for consent.
Yeah.
Immediately, you've allowed this man to stop and be like, "Am I actually a space for this desire?" And if he's in the middle of a work day and he's got fires to put out, you've given him the opportunity to say, "Hey, my love, I would love to hear your desire tonight over dinner.
Yeah.
I'm in the thick of it right now, but that desire is important to me. Let's chat about it over dinner."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the ideal, utopian
Yeah.
communication style. Once again, this all tracks back to, and I'm sure you're aware of it, Rodney. This all tracks back to how safe can I make it for them to lean in?
Yeah, it's interesting, Jacob. So in my sessions, what one of my, if you're in one of my first sessions with me, I always encourage us to make a rule. So in our sessions, there's no good information, there's no bad information, there's just information.
Yes.
So if we can strip all my expectations, your expectations, my fears, my feelings, my hopes, my dreams, your hopes, your dreams, and just go, hey, I'm trying to present you with a cup of coffee. The language I'm hearing is that you're not worth a cup of coffee. Can we have that conversation? Oh no,
Mm.
actually, I would like a cup of coffee, but if I took that cup of coffee, I feel insignificant. Do I really want to be? Am I? No, actually, you're honoring me. Oh, it turns out I might like that cup of coffee because we kind of stripped the pass and fail emotion away from it.
Mm.
And so, whilst that's great academically, it does require a bit of practice practically. This idea of going, okay, so what I heard was this, what I felt was that. Do the two actually line up? The feeling and the doing, do they actually line up? Always me? Am I just unpacking a story in my head?
I think that's like a lot of like yeah, a lot of the men's work that we do tracks back to a lot of really incredible therapy, a lot of incredible rites of passage. It's not like what we're doing, I think, as you know, yourself, Rodney, myself, and any other man in a position of like the healing arts,
Yeah,
whatever we call, I don't know what to put it all in. There's so many different words these days, but anyway, just helping humans develop. What I would say is that we're finding our way. We're finding our way after a season of suffering, a season of war, a season of like the rising of the feminine, and we're trying to figure out how to be together in a
yeah,
world that doesn't really know itself.
yeah, that's true.
So at any point where you and another person are in an experience where you can have a third person like a therapist step in and hold that space so you can both unravel and someone
Yeah,
can bring you back to the data, bring you back to the information. Hey,
yeah,
let's place this on the table rather than throwing it at each other and
yeah,
look at it. Let's pull, okay, here's the thought process that I have when you when you so the coffee thing, when my wife says to me, "Can I make you a cup of coffee?" My thought process is, if she makes me a cup of coffee, then that means I'm going to have to do something for her. And if someone gives me something, I don't feel worthy of it. So I have to do 10 things for that one thing. So I'd rather just do that one thing for myself rather than have to then go and do those 10 things just to have that coffee.
it's
How is
such a
my
shame.
wife
It's
meant,
such a
how
good
is,
coffee, Jacob.
yeah, how is my wife meant to know all of that is going on inside my head? All she wants to do is love me.
Yeah,
But for me to unpack that without projection or without closure would require that third person, that third party to actually help keep us regulated. And
yeah,
this is where slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I've
yeah,
been with my wife 13 years, almost 13 years now. We've been married for three. And we're still learning about each other. We're still committed to communication and growing. And we've got a child now. Like there is a commitment to figuring it out together.
yeah, yeah,
But it takes time. And I've witnessed this in many of my clients, as I'm sure you have, Rodney, that any of this work, it's not a 3 months and you're done. It's actually, I listened to another therapist recently who talks about the mother and the mother complex in men. And he says, it's, you know, I'm not going to lie to you, it's probably 3 years worth of therapy for you to get through this. You've spent the
yeah,
last 35 years of your life being one way.
yeah,
You're not going to master a whole new dynamic in 3 months. So like
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it's going to take for a year weekly sessions, and then after that fortnightly sessions for 2 years, if you'd
Mm.
like to actually change this pattern. And I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors here on the Gold Coast about how you're going to change your state and quantum leap and become a whole new man in 4 days or less. And I love that. I love the boldness and I love the promise, but
Yeah,
inevitably there is a time holds us and it takes time to change.
yeah.
So it becomes a part of you have to bring this work in as an aspect of your life so you can do it in a regenerative and sustainable way.
Yeah, it's interesting because a man will value. I've got to service my car because it's coming up.
Mm.
I've got to, mow the lawn because it's around about that time. There's things that follow in cycles and processes, and that makes sense in our head. But I got to check on me. Just never makes it into the process. And I think if we could see ourselves as that prize motor vehicle, the
Mm.
motivation might ebb a little bit to the maybe I should check the oil every now and then.
And if you look at the most, like, what do you believe is the most Australian car you can buy?
Well, being a foreigner, I'm going to be very careful here, but I'm going to say hold it.
Holden,
Don't shoot
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, perfect, cool. So like the Holden Commodore, the Ford Falcon, they were just
Yeah,
reliable cars. The other car that's really popular is the Toyota Land Cruiser.
yeah,
If we look at Australian culture, we like things that can just get on with it,
and keep going.
just keep going. Where we have a pride in our ability to soldier on. And I love that about Australians. Like we've got such grit.
Yeah,
But what that means is that I believe that a lot of people never actually allow themselves to be happy or enjoy the spoils of their hard work.
yeah,
And in that, they miss out on giving a version of themselves to the world, a happier, the joyful version of them. They only see themselves as a servant to their family, a servant to the culture, a servant to the country. And if we only ever see ourselves as that, we never really own our spotlight, own our magnificence. We never allow celebration to occur.
yeah.
A
That's
huge
right.
part of initiation in men's work is the celebration. Most men avoid the celebration because it means you have to be seen in your greatness.
Yeah, that's right.
The best question to ask a man, and I don't know if you've come across this, but I ask this in almost all of our workshops, and it's so it's not funny, but it's very clear when I ask it, everyone's like, "Oh shit." I'm like, "How many of you absolutely love it when everyone gathers round on your birthday, the cake comes out and everyone starts singing happy birthday?" How do you enjoy that?
I do, but
Yeah. But most men go, "No, I can't. I
no.
hate it. I
Yeah,
hate that. Oh, I don't like my birthday."
yeah,
So you don't like to celebrate that you were born, that
yeah,
you came through from the cosmos down in, you were grown in the belly of a woman, you came into this world as a miracle. Like
mm,
you don't want to celebrate that? No, no. Okay,
no.
cool. Brother, welcome to what we call the worthiness wound.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
What if
very
you were
cool.
already enough? And this is where we start to untangle value and worth for men. So a big part of this, as safety, belonging, value.
Yeah,
Beneath all of that is like who you are is inherently worthy. And
yeah,
then let's learn how to exchange value to both give and receive. Let's find a place where we belong so we can connect with other like-minded people that are actually our people.
yeah. And I like that, Jacob, because the value, so when we give value from the overflow, it's a sustainable system. But
Hmm.
when we give value from a lack and a need to be seen or perfected or recognized or whatever the language is, it's an empty well that's trying really hard to produce something. And
Hmm.
it's often the why we're paying the fees we're paying. So I like that
Mm.
idea. So if I'm a man, Jacob, what kind of platforms do I go to? You talk about the gathering of men, and maybe it's where do I go and go? Okay, so yep, I'm probably not safe. I probably don't have value or meaning or all those other things. Yeah,
Hmm.
but I don't know where to access it. I don't know where to start the conversation and do the assessment. How do I do that?
Mm. Awesome. So we say that there's the fourth world that most men never really access. So I put everything in frameworks. So because men, I draw most of my things on the whiteboards because men they love to be drawn in,
Yeah,
visual learners, right? So we say there's the self, there's you and your internal world. We say there's your relationships, your wife, your children, your close friends. And then we say there's your career, which is your purpose, your impact, your service, whatever you want to call that. But essentially, you have yourself, you have your relationships, and you have your work. They're the three worlds that most men play in. I'm going to play golf for me. I'm going to spend time with my family and live with them and barbecue with my friends. And I'm going to go to work to earn money and provide a service that inevitably I hope is making the world a better place and providing value to the people who need my services or products, right? All of that requires you to hold a certain responsibility and a role.
Yeah.
What happens when you need to be held? What happens when you need to be, when you can't, when you don't have the capacity for life? Say there's a huge challenge at work. Say your wife gets sick, your children are injured, or your parents pass away. What happens when your health deteriorates? You get into a car accident. You, for whatever reason, put your back out
Yeah.
and you can't. What do you then rely on? Painkillers, alcohol. How do you resource and regulate?
Yeah.
Or you try to do it all on your own. Men have, and this is the bit that the fourth world is brotherhood. This is where you get to step in and receive from a nervous system that has been built by men.
Yeah.
And we don't need you to perform. We don't need you to show up any other way other than as you are. And
Yeah.
if you show up and you're full of life and you're in overflow, amazing. There's going to be another man that needs that.
Yeah.
If you show up and you're bent over, doubled, and you can barely take another step, awesome. Let us resource you. Let us give to you,
Yeah.
brother. Get in the center. Let us hold you. What do you need?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get goosebumps talking about that because this transcends commerce. This transcends uh, the notion of capitalism. This is culture building.
Yeah. Yeah.
We use a phrase mutual indebtedness. Now, I'm not going to say it's you can come to our retreat for free. It's going to cost you money.
Yeah.
But what you will be able to build from that retreat is brotherhood, and you'll have a reference point for how to develop that in your life moving forward.
Yeah.
So the fourth world is brotherhood, where you can come and actually work out what's going on in a space that can hold it. That fourth world is I've seen it change men's lives time and time again. And what when they make it a part of their life, brotherhood, they then have a regenerative resource point ongoing. They don't actually need to be healing and growing and personal developmenting themselves till the fucking cows come home. They
Yeah.
actually have a resource that they can go to, and they have a weekly or a monthly rhythm where they're
Mm.
in circle, where they're doing things and holding depth with other men in council, unpacking shit so it doesn't build up over months and years.
Yeah, and for me, I think fundamentally humans at large are created for connection. So,
Yeah.
so brotherhood is a wonderful term
Mm.
to fulfill that need that is intrinsic.
Hmm.
The greater your struggle as a human, if you stop and you look and you boil it down, it's the connection. There's a problem with the connection with my partner, with my job, with life, with circumstances, conversations. It's all a connection issue.
Mm.
So that's wonderful. So okay, so I go, all right, I might need to tap into this brotherhood. What's the practical steps of me doing that, Jacob?
Yeah, the first thing I always say is like awareness is the first step. So you know that you need it, awesome. It'll start to find you as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
However, there's a seat at the table if you'd like to sit down. So it's going to cost you three things. Anything worth its salt will cost you three things. It's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you resources, and it's going to cost you energy.
Yeah,
So it's going to take up some of your time. It's going to take up some of your resources. It's going to cost you money. You're going to have to put your money on the table and say, I'm investing in this. And then the third thing is you have to show up and bring your energy. I'm here to play all in. I'm
yeah,
here because I want this. I'm not going to throw my money and time at it just to say I've done it so I can tick that off. No, your energy, your presence is required.
yeah,
So a sacrifice is necessary. A sacrifice is to make sacred. That's all it is. Sacrifice is not suffering either. It's different.
yeah,
Sacrifice is to make sacred. So what we say is come and spend, for instance, the gathering of men. It's a beautiful annual event where men get to come together and do the work alongside 160 other men for 4 days, 10 powerful processes, all designed to deepen your connection to self, your connection to others, and connection to the world.
Yeah.
We do it in brotherhood. We do it in nature. We do it in a rhythm that honors the cycles of manhood, our cyclical seasonal nature. And it's going to cost you 4 days. It's going to cost you $1,997. And if you're not willing to bring the energy, you will self eject. You will leave. And we're not going to stop you from leaving because every man has agency. So we say if you're not willing, all of your shit's welcome, but it must be ready to be transmuted into the highest light. You must be ready and willing to transmute anything. It's all is welcome, but once you're in, you must be willing to go to the depths. So
Yeah.
that's where we say any good experience that will transform a man will require him to make a sacrifice. And
Yeah.
I've given free tickets to there's a couple of guys I've given free tickets to every year, and they have not changed. They have not made any progress in their life because there
Mm.
was no appropriate sacrifice.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing about mankind. You can help many, but the few that pay for the investment, they get helped almost instantly.
It's amazing what that level of I'm worth this, therefore I will invest in this.
Yes.
Just that alone changes a man's life.
And so, where do I get your services? Is there a website? How do I find
Yeah.
Jacob and find
Yeah.
out about these services?
Yeah, one of the beautiful things about the Gathering of Men, and you can find us online, I'll put those there. But the thing about the Gathering of Men is we bring a whole heap of different epic leaders together. So if Jacob O'Neill isn't your flavor of the work, there's 30 other men there that lead men's groups, men's work retreats, men's initiation coaching, men's leadership coaching, men's business coaching, men's testosterone optimization, relationship coaching. There's a whole heap of amazing facilitators at this event that will allow you to really get a taste for what might be your style of leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one thing that I'm really proud of and passionate about is that if I'm not your flavor, I guarantee you I can direct you towards 10, 15, 20 other men's work facilitators at different varying levels of intensity and investment so
Yeah.
you can find something that fits number one, your sacrifice and what you actually need.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a pretty intense guy, as you can probably feel. Like I'm all in all the time.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm a little deep and a little intense for the guys that want to start. So I'm like, hey, come to the Gathering of Men. It's a beautiful place to start. And then I'd recommend joining a men's group
Yeah.
where you meet weekly or fortnightly. And if you need one of those, I can point you towards the Mankind Project. I can point you towards Benny on the Gold Coast or Lindsay down in the Northern Rivers. If you need someone in Brisbane, I can point you towards my friend that's trained with us, Michael. And he's an incredible, he runs a beautiful program called Daily Discomfort. They meet weekly and they do a workout together, they do some breath work and they do a men's circle. One thing that I'm really proud of is the network that I have access to. So if you're interested in what we do, all you have to do is go to www.thegatheringofmen.com and you'll see the website.
Awesome.
Uh, if you want to hit us up on Instagram at the Jacob O'Neill, and if you Google The Gathering of Men, will come up as well. But I'm sure I'll send all that stuff through to you for the show notes. And if anyone, the best way to, I love relationships. So if you ever have a question, if anyone's listening and they want to ask a question or ask about more information about anything in particular, a quick message on Instagram is the best way to get me.
Well, that's yeah, a lot of food for thought and very much in alignment with my thinking.
Mm.
So I've really enjoyed that conversation, Jacob. And if you're listening, I think my takeaway for today is if you're listening, your pain point, have you quantified the investment you will make for that pain point? Because if you're just going to push through and be the Aussie battler, that pain point will be there tomorrow and the
Mhm.
next day and the next day. But if you want to see change, there's an investment required. Qualify it, quantify it, and make it. And then there's
Mm.
hope on the other side. So I hope, well, that's my takeaway for today.
I think that's so like one thing like that gives men a framework. Is cool. Qualify it, quantify it, and then take the action.
Yeah.
There's a huge fear of making the wrong decision or making the bad investment. But my lesson in any of this is whenever I bet on me or invest in me, it always works out.
Yeah.
I'm the greatest bet. I'm the greatest investment I'll ever make.
Yeah, that's right.
And like you said, when we can give from overflow, which I think is like that in itself, if you can support a man, if there's any man out there that's feeling like he's running on empty, running at half full, and you're already an incredible giver and you're an amazing provider and you show up for your family, I just want you to consider what would happen if you were in overflow. How much more of you
Yeah.
your wife would get? How much more of you your children would get? When
Yeah.
my son was born, I went for a run and I realized I was carrying 10 kilos too much. And I was like, I'm going to get a PT. And within 12 months, I dropped 10 kilos and I was energized, alive, and so much more available. I needed it because a young child is intense. If you
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've got a woman that I love and I want to be with her and I've got a business that I love that I want to serve in. So I was required to prioritize the 4 days a week of training. It's dropped back to 2 days a week now. I had to prioritize my meal prep. I had to prioritize my check-ins. I had to prioritize the couple of $1,000s to get the personal trainer. And then guess who benefited? Everyone.
Yeah.
The investment in me meant that everyone got more. So if you can qualify it and quantify it, men, whether it's to do a retreat with us, to go and sit down with Rodney and do the work, or message me if you don't like either of us and you want someone else.
Yeah, that's
Happy
right.
to find someone
Yeah.
that's your flavor. But this work it hasn't saved my life. It's made my life I never thought it could be.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
most of us don't need saving. We just need pointing in the right direction. You're not broken.
Jacob, thank you for your time. It's been a
Mm.
privilege to have you.
Great to meet you, Rodney, and looking forward to seeing more of you around the traps, brother. Big love.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Your Truth Explored. If today's episode resonated with you, please take a moment to follow the podcast and share it with someone who might benefit from the conversation. Your support helps these messages reach the people who need them most. If you'd like to explore your own truths more deeply, you're welcome to connect with me at yourtruthservices.com.au about coaching or counseling bookings. Also available on that website is our other resources such as music, books, and videos. Until next time, take care and stay connected to your truth.